This is it. This is him. This is my beautiful, perfect boy. When I first saw SOUNDWAVE, the Bumblebee movie, when that first trailer featuring the Cybertron scenes dropped and we saw SOUNDWAVE, I was so happy. And I knew if any toy they make of that, I need to buy. And of course the first one had to be the big $200 ThreeZero one. But you know what? You know how much I was eager to do that? You know how little the $200 meant to me at the end of the day when it means that I would be trading that currency for this? Yeah. SOUNDWAVE is my favorite Transformers character, and the Bumblebee movie is my favorite live-action Transformers movie. It's great. I love it. It's such a good movie, and the Cybertron scenes were amazing. And come on, it's SOUNDWAVE. That sound he makes when he drops down is seriously the best sound that has ever touched my ears, and I have listened to some very nice music. But yeah, before we, keep going on about how beautiful this thing is, let's talk about the box real quick, because the box is also very beautiful, but we'll keep it brief. So yeah, the box has really nice artwork on it. Bumblebee, SOUNDWAVE, and Ravage, because you also get Ravage. And then the side just has cool Decepticon stuff. The top is to a similar effect. And then the side is pretty much the same, and then the back is also pretty much the same. Then the inside, I always hate showing these big old boxes. I think it's a magnet flap. Then if you open it up, you just see, hey, it's where the figure is kept. And then, hey, here's also a picture of the figure again that you have already purchased. All right, there's the box. It's cool. Let's talk about this guy. So this figure is big. I did not expect him to be as big as he actually is. If you want an idea of how big he is big. Here it is with next to the masterpiece SOUNDWAVE. He's got a KO Ratbat on his shoulder. If you didn't get Sound Blaster, get that KO Ratbat. It's really nice to have. So you can see he's a big boy even compared to the masterpiece SOUNDWAVE, which I still love the SOUNDWAVE, but I actually like this one a lot more. Because I'm just biased. I love like high-end stuff like this, and I love all the weathering and the realistic look. And here it is next to a Hot Toys figure. The First Order Stormtrooper. So you can see he's about 12 inches tall. He is about a 1/6 scale size. I feel like his quality and his size and all that is comparable to kind of your standard 1/6 scale, sort of items. He's a little shorter. They call him like 11.5 inches, something like that. But he's basically like a 12-inch figure. So what does he come with? He comes with many things, and we'll talk about the buddy in his chest in a little bit. So he comes with a base, which is nice. It's pretty good. I don't think I would support the figure's weight on it. You kind of pull that out, plug that back in, and then it kind of plugs into his butt. I'll show you how that works. You press the button and it goes down, then it ratchets and stays in place. So yeah, you can't really hold it by that, because then it'll droop. You have this little switch right here, which works and locks this rail, which is nice. Unfortunately, you cannot rotate the pole whatsoever. You're kind of at the mercy of that. But this works on SOUNDWAVE's butt. And you can see, ThreeZero Bumblebee. If we flip SOUNDWAVE around, he's got this panel. This is why I keep the thumbnail long. Take that out. He's got a big old hole. And then you can just plug him in. And I want to see if it'll support the weight. I'm going to say no. Oh, it does, but oh man. I don't trust it. Use it to support the figure on your shelf. I wouldn't have him in an aerial pose for an extended period of time. I just wouldn't. I do not recommend that. Just don't. So yeah, he does come with a base. He does not need it. He is very stable on his own, so he does not need the base. Then he has interchangeable hands. So he does have this kind of gesturing hand, which I was kind of using it for him doing like a go, go, go kind of thing. You can also use it as like his eject, if you want to kind of get him a little... Oop, they do pop off easy, which it's not like they pop off like, oh, it keeps popping off. They pop off as like, oh, that was convenient. You can't really get him to like press his chest, but I don't think he did that in the movie, so you don't have to worry about that. So you do have that hand, and then let's just kind of pop them off and show you. So you have that hand, and then you have a trigger finger hand for the left and the right. So that's nice, and the hands look very cool too. I love the effects on them. And then you have a calm, relaxed hand for the left and the right. get that plugged in. I don't think I've plugged in that hand at all yet. So yeah, it's kind of relaxed. You can just kind of have him standing there. It's a nice hand. I like it. And you can see the detail in the palm. And they are soft too, so don't worry about breaking the fingers. And then these hands I actually use a lot. I'll probably keep this hand in for the rest of the review. It's an open palm kind of gesturing hand, which I really like. Now, yeah, SOUNDWAVE was a lefty in the movie, but I just have him as a righty right now because I was actually, for some reason, he was a lefty in the movie, but you only have a left hand for this, so that's kind of odd. I don't even remember him really using that. But yeah, that's why I mostly have him as a righty, just because of that hand. And you do have his gun, which is not kind of the traditional SOUNDWAVE gun, but it still looks gorgeous. You do have that little piece right there that can move. You have like a sensor, you have the barrel. Really nice dry brushing on it. And then we gotta talk about this shoulder cannon, because I am in love with this shoulder cannon. Look at the details. Look at how cool it looks. And then it's on this armature. It can move around in pretty much any which way, and it feels really durable too. I'm not afraid of this breaking. Looking down the barrel of that is scary. That is honestly the coolest SOUNDWAVE shoulder cannon I've ever seen. And then, I guess it's not really an accessory, but it's a feature I want to discuss. You can kind of scalp him. Definitely good reason to keep the thumbnail long. You can kind of get under there. It's the blue. Start like prying at the blue. You'll scalp him. Then you can put in a couple batteries, which are not included, and he lights up very bright. I have a lot of studio lights on him right now, so it's, you know, definitely reduced, but still, you can tell the difference. It's a very bright light, and it's very nice that they gave him that feature. And I guess the last accessory we got to talk about is his bud. He does come with Ravage, and I already had him folded up in the chest. Now, I'm never going to keep him folded up in the chest, because why would you? And while we have it open, you can see they still kept a lot of nice detail in the chest. Look at all that. That's so cool. I love all that. So you can close it, and all that detail does keep the inside of his chest interesting when Ravage is not inside. And he's very nicely folded up, and he folds up very nice and easy. And you may be worried, oh, I'm worried that, you know, if I don't get it perfect, you know, it's going to scratch and, like, break and all that. Look at how unperfect and uneven mine was. The feet weren't really straight. I did it in like a minute, because they made this very easy. It's technically a transformable figure, and ThreeZero doesn't do transforming transformers. But you can unfurl him, untab the arms, the top arms. I guess you can call them arms on a cat, because they actually use it as, like, to reach things, I guess. And then take that panel, flip that, and then flip his crotch. Kind of get that matching with that piece. And then he does have, like, these sliders, or, like, the ball joints are also on a hinge for his back legs, so keep that in mind. Then just flip his head up, this piece, flip up these little things to kind of fill out his chest. Flip his arms forward. Do not try to flip them like this. Flip them like this. Definitely keep that in mind. And then all he's missing is just a couple little accessories he comes with. So he comes with, forgive me, I don't know exactly which direction it goes. This little missile launcher pod thing. I usually put it like this, but I guess it can also go like this. It really doesn't matter. I actually kind of prefer it like that. That looks kind of cool. We'll have it like this for today. Forgive me, I don't know how it actually goes. And then you have, of course, his hip rockets. Because it's Ravage. Of course he needs to have his hip rockets. Don't you know that robot cats have hip rockets? Gosh, idiot. So yeah, I guess you can count him as an accessory, but he is technically his own individual unique figure. And that is absolutely awesome. I love it. So, looking at him, they definitely gave him more color for the Bumblebee movie because they needed to make him pop out a little more on screen. And I really have no issue with that. The head sculpt looks really sweet. I love that head sculpt. That is Ravage. And then you can open up his jaw. Seriously, man, having the thumbnail is so good for this figure. I'm not even lying. I keep talking about my thumbnail. I'm such a freak. Anyways, yeah, he's got all this awesome detail. Really nice Decepticon symbols. You can see it, man. You can see how beautiful and gorgeous this thing is. Even the tail. Definitely be careful. The tail feels a little fragile. But other than that, I love the paint. I love the durability. And the poseability is not bad on Ravage either. Unfortunately, you can't really move his head side to side, but it does move up and down on 2 hinges. You can already see how the jaw moves. You have ball joints for the arms, then hinges for the knees and for the wrists, I guess. And then also this piece kind of like comes up for the transformation, I guess. Then the legs, you already know they're on that hinge and a ball joint. Knee, ankle, I guess, which is nice. You have all those different hinges. Then the tail can move up and down. So yeah, he's pretty decently articulated, but unfortunately you can't get him in tons of poses. But you know what? I feel like if they made him more articulated, it would compromise the look. So I think they did good. I think they did good on that. So that's Ravage. Now on to our beautiful boy. I'm going to try to make the detail part brief because this video is already like 11 minutes long. I'm just going to zoom in and let you look at him. His head sculpt is gorgeous. I love his head so much. I love it. Like, that is SOUNDWAVE. That is what SOUNDWAVE should have been in the movies the whole time. I really hope this version of SOUNDWAVE makes an appearance in movies again. We cannot just limit this to a cameo. We really cannot. Like, all the weathering. Look at all the edge work in the chest and on the crotch, even all the kind of little buttons and things. And there's only like a couple visible pins. There's no visible screws. Look at the shoulders. So much presence. Then on the arms, you still have the red around the wrists, like G1 SOUNDWAVE. And looking on the back real quick, all this freaking detail. This is one of the most intricate designs for a robot, and yet also one of the most simplistic in a modern movie. I love all the little technical doodads. He's got little butt flaps too. Look at that. Even his butt looks cool. Look at the weathering, man. I love it. This is honestly the most nicely weathered figure I have in my collection. I don't think anything is better than this with the weathering. And I own a few Hot Toys. I'm even saying this is better than like Hot Toys Cody, seriously. Just all the silver scratches and all that are just so gorgeous. And looking on the knees and then the legs. The legs are so beefy, and look at all those scratches. I love it. And his feet are just so chonk. And he's got like these little pieces too, these little guards. He's got like these fake little pistons, which you can kind of see in there. A little bit of yellow detail. Man, he is just packed. He is jam-packed with detail. He is honestly definitely in like the top 3 most gorgeous figures in my collection. He's breathtaking. Anyways, let's talk about his articulation, because definitely a few things to be careful about. You've already seen the cannon, so we'll get that out of the way. Definitely a few things to be careful about, but honestly, he's pretty available to get in the poses you want to get him in. His head can move up, move down a little bit, tilt side to side, forward, or you know what I mean. His shoulder pads hinge up, and his shoulders hinge, and you can also see they're on a butterfly joint, and that butterfly joint is also on another butterfly joint, so you get a lot of posability out of that. You can see some extra detail exposed when you do that. You do have a bicep swivel, and definitely be careful with the shoulder pad as you do the bicep swivel, because it will collide. And the bicep swivel I would only do, yeah, you pretty much have free range with that. The elbows bend in pretty much all the way for a big chunky robot boy. The wrists are on ball joints, and then the ball joints are on hinges. So you can pretty much get them in any kind of pose you want. The ball joint gives you a lot of range, but they do kind of come off easily, as I've said before, so keep that in mind. The waist is one of the few parts that's really limited, unfortunately. You do have a really nice ab crunch, which you can see gets a lot of range. And you can see all this exposed detail in his back when you do that. Oh my gosh. And then you can also have him tilting side to side. These pieces here are actually very soft, so keep that in mind. They made sure those won't just snap off. They actually were using their head, which is great. So the waist kind of sucks, because you have to flip up his crotch pieces that should always kind of be in the front. And then when you rotate his waist and kind of get him back, they look really awkward. So that's kind of unfortunate. I wish they would have done that a little differently. But still, it's not too bad. Then these pieces are on like a double hinge so they can get out of the way. Then these pieces are on a ball joint so they can conform to the shape. And then his legs are on a drop down. You also do have a little bit of articulation in the butt flap back there. Just kind of moves up and down. His legs are on a drop down. So if you kind of drop him down all the way, you can get him kicking pretty far forward. You can get him kicking pretty decently off to the side, but this piece is also on a hinge. You can get out of the way to get it all the way. Unfortunately, that does leave that looking a little separated. That's no biggie. A little bit of a thigh swivel. And then you can definitely see how like you get that forward and kind of get that flush and how that kind of looks and conforms to the shape. Then the knee. Look at the knee. Look at how deep the first bend goes. Then the second bend slides the thigh armor. That is some Gundam shit right there. Look at that. That is some real grade, master grade Gundam shit. I am all for that. And then his ankles have pretty decent tilt. And then they move up and down. And oh yeah, a little bit of toe articulation too. You can see the little logo on the toe. So, that's pretty much it. This figure's gorgeous. Does not transform, obviously. Actually, Bumblebee movie Soundwave doesn't really have much of an alt mode that we're aware of. I'm sure he transforms into something. I'd love to see a Studio Series figure that kind of shows us what he would transform into. But yeah, this figure is amazing. It is also very heavy because it has die-cast components. So it's very heavy. It has a lot of metal in it. In my opinion, this thing was well worth $200. Well worth it. I would definitely recommend this for any big Soundwave fan. This is my only ThreeZero Transformers figure. I decided not to get Optimus and Bumblebee and all that. I decided just to get Soundwave because Soundwave is my boy. And I love this. I genuinely love this. I cannot recommend this enough if this is in your price range, if this is something that looks interesting to you. If you're a big fan of Bumblebee movie Soundwave, and if you're on the edge, if you're kind of skeptical on the price, in my opinion, man, go for it. Go for it. You won't regret it. This thing is gorgeous. This is the kind of thing that needs to go behind glass and be admired for the rest of its life. It's so poseable. It looks so natural. Some of the only pins you'll ever see are right there in that hinge. You kind of see some of the metallic shine. You can see those hinges. That's one of the only hinges you can see. All the rest are kind of hidden behind panels, plastic, internal assembly. It's, oh man, it's amazing. It is absolutely amazing. Alrighty guys, I've gushed long enough. I love this figure and I cannot recommend it enough if it's something that looks appealing to you. I love it. It's probably going to stay on my desk for so long until I finally put it on a shelf. Alrighty guys, I'll see you in the next video. Bye.